Hi, welcome to the Tabs and Icons video series. In this video, we're going to look at this new function called the switch function in Microsoft Excel, and we'll see if that function has come to replace the if function or if it's a complement to the if function. My name is Karo Ezuzu, and I'm going to take you through this short video. Now, let's look at the data we have here. We have here data of students and their scores as well as their grade. What are we supposed to do? We are supposed to assign remark to the grades. If a student scores A, is going to have excellent as his remark, B, very good, all in line with this table of values here. So let's start with the usual if statement, which is a very popular function. So I'm going to say equal to if this value is equal to A. We know how the if statement works. If you're not very familiar with the if statement, you can watch our earlier videos on the if statement. So value if true is going to be excellent. So I'm going to say excellent, and I take a comma. It's going to ask me value if false. There are other functions. There are other grades. So I'm going to say if again, that value equal to B. Am I right here? B. So value if that is true is going to be very good. So I'm going to say very good in double quote, and I take this value if false. I'm going to use another if function. If this value is equal to this time C, what will be the value if it's C? It should be good. So I'm going to say good, and I take the if function again. If that, okay, and I take the if function again. If that value is equal to what now? If that is equal to, I've taken C, so it's going to be D. If that's equal to D, what should it be? It should give us fair. That's what it should be, fair. Now, I have come to the last one, so it's going to be value if false. I guess there's still some little error there. Okay, yeah. Value if true for D is going to be fair. So I take fair, and I'm going to have the last one, value if false. Now, if it is false, what should I have? It should be fail. So I'm going to put fail there. I guess this is all I'm going to do. I just close my bracket. For Excel, don't bother. It will close that bracket for you. So I copy this down. Now, what have I used? I have used the if function. Now, we're saying that we can actually achieve this using the switch function. What does the switch function do? The switch function simply looks at your expression. Let's look at what it does. Simply look at your expression and returns a value corresponding to your first definition. If it doesn't correspond, it moves down to the second one up to the last one. So let's see how the switch function works. I'm going to say equal to switch, and it's asking me for an expression. What's my expression? I'm saying this is my expression D1, and I take a comma. It's asking me what values are we looking at. First value. My first value will be A. And if it's A, what should the result be? The result should be excellent. And I take my comma. It's asking me for the second value or the default. Now, if there's no other value more than the second one, I will take a default value. But I still have other values, so I'm going to define that the second value is B. And it's asking me what is the result if it is B. If it is B, it's going to be very good. So I take this, and it's asking for the third, there an error there, excellent, B, very good. Okay, so I guess this is not okay. Yeah, it's asking for the third function. The third function will be C. So I'm going to say C, and what is the result of C is going to be good. So I'm going to say good, and I take this. So it's the fourth one is D. So I'm going to say D, and I take this. If it is D, what should it give me? It should give me fair. Now, I don't have any other function apart from one, so I'm going to use the default, which is the last one, which is fail. Anything outside this is fail. Let me change this one. It's okay, no problem with that. Fail, I'm going to use uppercase here so that I can be consistent. Now I hail this. Okay, fine. So I have used the switch and I've arrived at the same thing using the switch function. Now I could have actually linked this switch function straight to the table and save myself the problem of writing A and XLUP and all this. So let's see how that works. Let me use the switch again, but this time I'm going to link it to my table. So I'm going to say equal to switch, and it's asking for my expression, which is the same thing. This is my expression, but this time rather than define values, I'm just going to click on this as my first value, and the result for that first value is this. I just select that and I take a comma. It's asking for the second expression, which is B, and the result for B is very good. I take this. I'm just holding all those ones fixed because I intend to copy down. This is the third expression, and the result of the third expression is good. I hold this. It's asking for the fourth value, which is D. I take this, and the result for D is fair, so I move straight to fair, and I don't have any other one. The last one is the default one, which is fail, and I hold it. That's all I got to do. I hit my enter key and I have this, so I can actually copy down. Now you've seen that we've used the switch function and the if function to achieve the same thing, but remember, our popular VLOOKUP statement can actually achieve this, and even the XLOOKUP. Let's see how that is done. So I'm going to use the popular VLOOKUP function. Remember that VLOOKUP will look up a value on the first column to the left and return the corresponding value to the right. So I'm going to come here and say equal to VLOOKUP. What am I looking up? I'm looking up the grade, and I take a comma. It's asking my table array. My table array is the whole of this session. So I'm going to highlight the whole of this session, and I take a comma. It's asking column index number. I've highlighted two columns here. First one is the one the lookup value will be, and then the second one, which is 2, is where I intend to get my result from. And I'm taking false because I want exact match. That's all I need to do. I hit my enter key, and it's giving me exactly the same thing as the switch function. I copy this down. Now, if you have Microsoft 365, that means you can also use the XLOOKUP, which is another new function from Microsoft Excel. The XLOOKUP, we have actually done another video on that one in our YouTube channel. So if you are not very much at home with the XLOOKUP, you can look at the old video we've done on XLOOKUP. It has a it's a 6 argument function, but only 3 are mandatory, and the 3 mandatory arguments are enough to address this problem. So I'm going to say equal to XLOOKUP. It's asking me for lookup value, and I take D as my lookup value. I take a comma. It's going to ask me for lookup array. Where am I going to search for that? And I highlight this. I'm searching for that in that column, and it's asking for my return array. When I get this value, what should I return? And I say return the corresponding value in this column, and that's all. I hit my enter key. Now XLOOKUP has given us exactly the same thing. Wow. Now if you don't have the XLOOKUP, assuming you are using an old version of Microsoft Excel, you can still use another function or a mix of 2 functions called the index and match functions. Now, before now, we know these functions are used to actually conquer VLOOKUP shortcomings. So let's use the index and match function and see if we can arrive at the same thing. Now I'm going to say equal to index. What am I looking at? The array. I'm having the whole of this array. So I'm going to highlight this, and I'm asked to search for the row number. I can look for the row number or column number using the match function. So I'm going to say match. What am I matching? Is like a lookup value. So I'm going to I'm going to match the grade D. Where am I matching the grade? It's going to ask for lookup array. Remember, in my video match function, I've said the match looks for a value either in a column or a row. So this value is going to be searched for in this column. So I'm going to highlight this column, and I take my comma. It's asking, is it the exact match? Yes, I need the exact match. So I close my bracket, and it takes me back to the index asking for column number. Now the column number should be 2 because it's taking the first one from the first row, and then the return value should be the second column. That's all I need to do. I hit my enter key, and I have the same thing. So I'm going to copy this down, and we can see right now that we can actually even use the if function, which is also available in Microsoft 365, but I don't want to bother going to that. So you can see for the same solution, we can use the if function, the switch function, the VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, as well as the index and match. That's why I say there are so many approaches to achieving the same thing in any data analytics issue. Thank you very much for listening. In other videos, we're going to see much more of what Excel can do. Bye-bye.